Link TV, connecting you to the world. Link TV is viewer supported. Watch more at linktv.org.
Obama makes a historic visit to China. And the U.S. struggles with a second superpower. Next on Global Pulse. A comparison of how these broadcasters are covering Obama's trip to China. President Barack Obama may be idolized by the Chinese as he visits Beijing, as the UK's Sky News shows.
President Obama has arrived in China to discover he's achieved cult status in a country intrigued by the young American president. These are must-have souvenirs of an historic visit that promises to kick-start a relationship between new China and a new president.
But one thing is loud and clear. America, you are no longer the sole superpower. This doesn't mean the U.S. is less than China, although Obama was characterized as a supplicant kowtowing to his benefactors by broadcasters at the start of his trip.
China is America's largest creditor, leading President Obama to tread carefully during his first trip to the region.
Mr. Obama goes to Beijing more in the role of an extravagant borrower visiting his rather nervous banker.
Because it is hard to talk tough on trade, Taiwan, and Tibet when you're sitting across the table from your biggest lender.
There's psychological warfare between the world's superpowers. There's tension between debtor and creditor.
And when Obama challenged China's repressive internet policies at a town hall meeting in Shanghai, it didn't mean that China was inferior, as NBC, ABC, and Fox News appeared to report.
The president prevailed upon the Chinese to allow a question and answer session with university students in and around China's bustling southern coastal city of Shanghai.
And what's the main reason that you were honored the Nobel Prize for Peace?
6 of the 8 questions from the students were either laudatory softballs or reformulations of government policy on topics like Taiwan, culture exchanges, and U.S.-China cooperation.
In anticipation of this visit, the Chinese government rounded up and detained dozens of dissidents. President Obama did not offer a forceful public denunciation of China's human rights record, but his message was clear.
These freedoms of expression and worship, of access to information and political participation, we believe are universal rights.
The White House streamed the town hall live on its website with high hopes of big play in China. But at one popular internet cafe here, it was video games and movies. And official Chinese television ignored the live event, later running short clips.
China's CCTV's edited coverage of the town hall meeting emphasized Obama's agreement on China's position towards Taiwan.
Mr. President, are you supportive of improved cross-strait relations?
I have been clear in the past that my administration fully supports a one China policy.
Obama says the U.S. does not seek to contain China's rise, and he welcomes China to be a strong, prosperous, and successful member of the community of nations.
In reviewing Chinese coverage of the visit, one thing stood out, that China is merely asserting its equality with the U.S. CCTV framed President Obama and President Hu as equal leaders and boasted of China's influence.
China, being the largest holder of U.S. debt and one of the only nations that has not been severely affected by the global economic downturn, is a country that Washington increasingly looks to for cooperation. They represent the interests of the world's largest developing and developed nations.
And China's Asia Today reported on America's media response to the visit, implying that U.S. media has accepted China's new prominence.
CNN reports the relationship between China and the United States is the most important bilateral relationship in the world.
The media and analysts here acknowledge that China's increasing role in world affairs, the U.S. and China are now more of equal partners.
So get used to it, America. The U.S. has a new partner. Instead of G8 or G20, it's a G2, as Russia's RT pointed out.
America and China have promised to work together to tackle some of the world's most serious problems.
I can imagine the reaction of Chairman Mao and the little helmsman Deng Xiaoping up there in heaven, as the Chinese would tell us, at the sight of an American president coming here, not to lecture China, but to agree that China is, in fact, a peer. This is an acknowledgement of a G2 between the U.S. and China.
For Global Pulse, I'm Erin Coker.
Link TV is the only U.S. network dedicated to global and national news, uncompromising documentaries, and diverse cultural programs. Programs which connect you to the world. To learn more, visit linktv.org.